Our target has been acquired. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. I really do appreciate it. And for everyone who is absolutely exploding right now because your portfolios may be looking nice because you just had a nice trade that we were talking about down here at the lows. And we're going to talk about the next part, right? We made a plan. We have executed the plan, even targeting the next week weekly expected move, and we have gotten there. And I bet a lot of people thought I was joking at these low levels when I said, hey, we're going to end up back at 611.03, and look exactly where we are right now. Now, we are going to get into what a bad decision would be at this area, and we're going to discuss how you could really hurt yourself making that bad decision and why that decision is overall bad in general. Now we want to go forward into this video and talk about what could happen as far as bad things, but what could actually happen as far as making new all-time highs again and again and again, maybe even going into March. We're going to talk about those two scenarios and see which one seems to be the most probable at this moment, and we're going to mainly use that as well on the shorter time frames on Sunday. So if you want updated weekly expected moves completely free here on YouTube for the SPY and the Qs, hey, join us here, right? So get subscribed to the channel because we're going to be giving that out tomorrow, and you can get that and it will really start to help out your trading. So let's get into this. So you probably see a couple of scenarios here up on the chart at this moment. And these are two things that I think we need to be paying attention to. And one seems to be very highly more probable than the other at this point, based on the shorter time frames for the most part. So we're going to pay attention to the bigger time frames today, which means we're still going to treat this red line very seriously because the green one is actually the more probable thing at this moment. But I wanted to show you how this overall is a bad decision. And the way that we're going to overall do that at this point is because look at my first couple of lines here. They're both coming in the downward direction. This is actually a point where, you know, we took calls down in these areas and now we've hit our target. We're potentially selling at these levels. If I was able to catch a trade at the lows, this would be, according to the monthly expected moves, which are the yellow lines on your chart, where the risk to reward starts to get pretty bad to the long side. And that's probably the worst decision I can make, is trying to take a long play or start a new long position while at the top side of a monthly expected move. As we just took out a high, this is where FOMO can really start to set in, when you are very likely to see some kind of pullback, or if not, some kind of big drop from these levels. And we're going to talk about those scenarios. But overall, I just wanted to get across very early on in this video how the monthly is really displaying to you, hey, the upside I have left might be this right here. You can barely see me even draw it, but what is the risk in January? Well, the risk still in January, if we really want to treat it seriously, this is probably not very possible at this moment. I don't want to say it's the most probable thing at all. This is very low probability, but technically the risk for the entire month, and you're going into the last week of the month, is you could end up all the way down here by the end of the month. So that's an easy way to convince me, like, hey, I should not be taking calls in this area, and that decision can really beat me up. As we have just seen a rapid run, we are going to need a pullback eventually, and if that pullback comes right as I start to get FOMO'd in, hey, if we really want to simplify it here, it's just a bad decision. Now, let's talk about these lines that I got here, because I think these are two scenarios that I would really be aware of at this moment. If it starts to change, we're going to change, right? The stock market can do what the stock market want to do, and then we have to react based on that information. So let's talk about the bear side first, and that's going to be the red line on your chart. Now, I believe that this is the less probable one at this point. If we go and make another upside move, and then we end up turning down into lower levels and actually crossing over this MACD. Now, why is that such a big deal at this point? Well, it's because you've actually made a divergence here. You've actually made the divergence on the MACD and RSI at the same time, but they have not confirmed yet. So that means everything is still all happy and dandy, and you just had a really strong move. Okay, so how this would overall play out, though, is you would react down to lower levels. You would fill every single gap, and then you would get some kind of lackluster bounce that actually shoots you below this low here, and you're going to end up filling, if not testing, the lows from the election. So I think that that's something that you can be aware of, even though it's less probable. We need to be aware of. If I'm very, very bullish, this is a very, very bullish move, it's most likely to continue. That's great. But I still want to be aware of the 1% chance that we could experience something bad. Now, I do believe this would be in the form of some kind of black swan at this point, but we do have proper signals for a major top here, which is the SPY is creating some form of divergence right now. It has not confirmed, so we got to consider that's still bullish at this moment. And the Qs have made an overall lower high potential, right? This is potentially a lower high. If this comes up as a lower high, well, a lot of major tops, the Qs are not able to go make that divergence, and the SPY actually does. And that's been a signal that a lot of people have paid attention to for a long time. So if the daily MACD for the Qs crosses over, I need to treat that pretty seriously, because that says, hey, I do have a good shot to test this low, even go make a new one. And you can kind of tell that from the positioning of the MACD being so close to the center line going negative. That would be a bad thing. Now let's go over to what seems to be the more probable thing, and this is where joining us for the Sunday video to get the weekly expected moves, and joining us for the Sunday video to see, hey, the 2-hour pullback is the most likely scenario, and that's a chart that we go over in the shorter time frames. So thank you for subscribing. But I think that this seems more probable right now. We are going to fill a few of those gaps, not be able to drop below 590, and then we are actually going to see potentially some good news with Apple and potentially some good news with the Fed going into Thursday and Friday. So I think those 2 dates are something that I would pay attention to. Something like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, those dates I'm really looking for us to base out if we see some kind of pullback here. And then we end up seeing an absolute boom again in the market, and we see this take out this level and make a new all-time high again. And how this would overall look on our MACD, and this would say that we were paying attention to January for a top. We saw some turbulence in January. Hey, that's awesome, but we found the signals that said we're going higher. At the end of the day, we're not going to sit there and go crash, 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 crash when we're getting reversal signals. When we get reversal signals, we say, hey, that says we could turn around and let's risk some money. Bam, we were able to make money in that move because people were so bearish. You had almost 7-to-1 put to call ratios. Like, that is just crazy how bearish people were down there. And that's why you're getting this big reaction. So the likelihood of this reaction continuing is actually pretty high. We're aware of the bearish thing. Now we're aware of the more likely bullish thing. And that would lead you into our next point of reference, which would be March, right? The next month that we were paying attention to for weakness, for some kind of major top in the market, was going to be March. After that will be actually October if we're able to correct and go higher. We're going to talk about that a little bit towards the end of the video. Now, what we want to pay attention to here is, what would the MACD overall look like? Well, that would mean that this most likely isn't able to cross, or it's briefly crossing, maybe with a weak wick or something like that, and then we're able to curl back up into positive territory in some way, or we just remain curled up into positive territory. We see a big move. We see this actually violate those divergence points on the RSI down here, and then we actually curl down for a moment to actually see that move go up again, and that's where we create a little divergence here on the RSI. That is where the MACD would do a similar thing, creating that divergence on the MACD, and they would be at the same time for the SPY. So this is something I'm paying serious attention to at this moment, because this seems like the more probable thing, and now I'm aware of the bearish thing that can happen going into March. We want to pay attention to potential bullishness, but we gotta see how this week shapes up. We gotta see how this week reacts, because if we curl down on daily charts, it changes a lot, and maybe we end up in this red pattern instead of this green one. I still want to be aware, and I think the Dow, the DIA, it's an ETF for the Dow that we use, and it's a great one to show you the risk to reward. How risky is it here? Well, you have a 32% chance to close out here, and you have a 68% chance to close down here by Friday, this Friday. So if you're going to close below that monthly expected move, that means 68% chance here, 32 here. So which one am I leaning towards? I'm always going to lean with the probabilities and say, hey, we do have a strong move that looks like it needs some kind of pullback. So if that pullback is a little bit deeper and this crosses down, well, what were we aware of for the Dow Jones? It was the head and shoulders that could have been, right? We saw this lip over here. We saw the head, and we said around this level, you could get some kind of bounce to make that right shoulder. We ended up tanking through that level and then making reversal signals to potentially go the right, to make the right shoulder that could have been for a lower high. This is the bearish thing for the DIA I would be aware of, but the main thing you need to take away from the DIA is the decision making. This is a very simple way to make decisions. If I have a monthly expected move like this, I see a really good reversal signals here, then I can target the upside monthly expected move. We get there, and now the percentages towards the end of the month are saying, hey, we are likely to go down to lower levels by the end of the month, lower than this yellow line right here. So you see how opening up a long position right now would be a bad idea according to the DIA and according to the SPY, and almost even according to the Qs at this point. So we want to be paying attention if this is a lower high. Now we do want to see that this is a very strong move, and if we hold up at any of these gaps and just turn back up, we could end up with new all-time highs as well for the DIA and leak this all the way into March. So that is something that I'd be paying attention to at this point. When we look at things like IWM as well, that thing a little bit lackluster. We were talking about the right shoulder that could have been as well here. IWM very good at showing us the divergence for this overall weakness. We see it again at the lows. You can see it down there on the RSI, not on the MACD at the same time. So this is still negative. So we seriously have to pay attention to IWM. IWM looking a little bit weaker, probably because the yields are able to hold up, but just note that they have a decision this week. And if they actually decide to cut rates further, that might actually be potential good news for IWM. I mean, a lot of people are talking about the rates having to be raised right now, and I don't think the Fed is in a spot where they can raise rates. I don't think they can. I just genuinely don't think that's a thing right now. It would cause so much damage in the housing market. It would cause so much damage for banks. It would cause so much damage for our debt that it's just insane if they would do that. So I'm kind of leaning towards, hey, they will keep it flat or even cut the rates again, and then IWM could see some positivity, but I am aware of how this could go wrong. This is saying, hey, there is some upside left for IWM with a little bit of more risk to the downside for the end of the month. We'll pay attention to weekly expected moves, but the main thing I want to see is, does this daily cross down into negative territory? Because if it does, then we might be seeing some tops around, and we might be seeing the IWM actually cut this low and go make a new one. So that is something that I'd pay attention to. IWM looking very different from DIA. IWM and DIA looking very different from the Qs, and the Qs looking different from the overall SPY, making the lower high, which could be a potential topping signal. But overall, you need to keep it in your head. The main part of this video is the most probable thing going forward is we receive some kind of pullback. This is why joining us for Sunday for the shorter time frames will be important. We see some kind of pullback, maybe down to 595, or to fill this gap down towards 592, 591, and then you end up curling up into positive territory again. And that seems to be the most probable thing at this point for the SPY. If we're going to still pay attention to bearish things that can happen, hey, if we want to take out these levels, well, then you need this daily MACD to curl up. It is still within range of going positive. So if we are going to experience something bad, I know the yen carry trade just took place. The BOJ decided to raise by 0.5. They actually saw inflation come in at 3.6. So they are most likely, if that continues, they're probably going to have to continue to raise rates. And that could be a bad thing for stocks in general. So we're paying attention to if the daily for volatility can turn up. But what are we more leaning towards, and how would this look going forward if we're going to make new all-time highs again and again, maybe all the way into March? Well, then this would be some kind of ABC move to get you down towards 1212. You see that reaction from volatility that gives you that daily pullback, and then you curl down again, potentially making some forms of divergence here for the MACD and for the RSI at the same time. And these are things that I'd be paying attention to. This seems to be the most probable thing going forward. If this changes, we will change, right? We are traders. We are not mind readers. We are people who are reacting to buying and selling, and we are not knowing whether someone wants to buy or big amounts of people want to sell until we see those signals, and then we catch the momentum. We are willing to flip back and forth. Being a flip-flopper is perfectly fine as a trader. It's not very good as a politician, but we want to be paying attention to both sides, and if we pay attention to both sides, and maybe we see a good signal in one of those sides, we can pay attention to how we can be wrong, and then we can say, hey, but this looks like a good potential setup. So that's what we're paying attention to as far as it goes. As far as it goes right now, you're seeing exactly what needs to happen to continue a squeeze, which is closing below the 200. You keep seeing these closures below. You just slowly leak down into 1212. We can see that from the past, right? You just slowly leak down almost towards 1212. You can see that back over here. You slowly leak down towards 1212. You make those divergences, then you pop. So something like this right over here is pretty much what I'm looking for from volatility. And this seems to be the most probable situation that I see going forward at this moment. Let's just briefly talk about investing and what this overall could look like and when could be the next proper time to invest. Well, patience is going to be the thing here. You have the highest up the MACD has ever been in our history. Your RSI is actually showing triple divergence down here for the RSI going all the way back to 2018. So you do have some big forms of weakness on the RSI. You're just not seeing it at the same time on the MACD. So if we want to make it at the same time on the MACD and RSI, well, then we would probably just see some kind of correction correction like we did over here. And this is where we have to take into consideration the confusion that is going to come in 2025. We have a lot of things going on, deportations, we're having to do immigration, everything. We're having to do potential trade wars, right? Potential for negotiations, potential for acquiring things. There's a lot of confusion going into 2025 with everything that Trump is doing. So people might not like that, and it might be a confusing period. And usually a confusing period shows itself as some kind of bear market. And you know, this was all the confusion with rates. So we'll be paying attention to that. Now, there are divergences there, so I should pay attention to if that crashes down. But let's talk about correction for a second, because if you are going to overall correct, you could end up testing in these levels, testing the previous highs from 2021. And then we actually see that confusing period where you see a bunch of chop for almost a full year. And then you end up just curling up on the monthly chart into positive territory. That is an overall thing that we will be paying attention to. And when that chop happens, we'll be looking for weekly divergence. Because something that's really good for investing, and why taking the full technical analysis course can help you with investing, is because if you see weekly divergence, it is a great reversal signal telling you, hey, the monthly is likely to turn up. Do you know what you had right down here? You had a weekly divergence. If you'd like me to show it to you real quick, I will. Look at this. Weekly divergence at the lows. You see that on the MACD. If I can pull it up here, you see it on the MACD and the RSI at the same time. And they're both, you know, significant enough, right? They're higher than the point. This one is actually pretty significant there on the RSI. You notice from that level there, yeah, we went through those little pullbacks, but over time, you end up in the upward direction. And that's what investing really unlocks you to do, right? You can hold through these pullbacks and things like that as long as your low's not taken out, as long as your good decision was already made. You see weekly divergence, that's a weakness in momentum. So I'm saying we will pay attention to that over here if this is going to be more of a correction. Now, because we do have triple divergence on the RSI, if we're going to turn down from here, there is some serious things going on that could mean if we leak out all the way up into March and we don't violate these divergences, you can see a bigger drop. And I'm going to talk about how I see that overall playing out. And I don't think it all happens at once. Everyone thinks crash is like in 1 month, you're just going to do this. That's not usually how it plays out, but we could see something a little bit more aggressive than, say, this over here, which means we experience some big drops, we get some kind of bounce, we experience a big drop, we get some kind of bounce, and then we experience a big drop down into here. And then around these areas, right, the lows back from 2022, we actually see a good reaction that is actually going to fail, and we see some kind of head and shoulders at this level. I think that is something that we will be paying attention to if things are more aggressive than right over here, and it's not going to be some kind of correction, and you might actually be crashing. So that is what we're paying attention to as far as the macro goes. I do think on the daily scale, you have opportunities to see stocks go up into March, but we need to make sure to pay attention to next week, see how it plays out, to see if the daily scale is giving us any hints. What would those hints be? The hints on the daily scale would be, does this MACD cross down, right? Does the MACD cross down? And this is overall getting into our main takeaway, which is if this MACD crosses down, I have to treat it very seriously, because that could be the start of something really bad. It could be a correction, it could be a crash. But at this point, right now, how it's stacking up, this does not seem like the more probable thing. The more probable thing that seems to be happening here is you are going to see some kind of pullback, and you are going to see that be able to go up into March, and that is when we will start to pay attention again and look for reversal signals. So we can keep a good level head about this. We can just look at the signals. If signals start to prove that things are going to drop dramatically, then we can say things will drop dramatically. But this is a very, very strong upward move. You are getting to a new all-time high, so we are aware that this could be some kind of trap. It's just we don't see any trap-like behavior going on. You are seeing the dollar drop off. You're seeing the yields drop off, and this would be too quick of a reaction for the yields dropping, right? The yields dropping actually in the end of the things usually does create tell you you're going into recession and you're going to get some kind of crash or something like that, or bear market. But right now, people haven't had that good reaction. People are still thinking about the rates rising, which is something that is a little bit different. And this is why I believe that it could leak all the way into March. And if we're able to base out at some point, it could go all the way into October, and we have to be prepared for that. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I know that a lot of you guys are dedicating your weekend to learning. If you're going to do that using my course down in the description, that's 90 90% off. You can get the full technical analysis course. You can learn why we were taking bullish trades down in this area to go target 611.03 just by taking that course down in the description. It will only cost you $100, right? We're doing our New Year's sale. We're going to do this every single year where you can, retail traders can get the course for just $100. I would get it while it lasts because it goes away in about 6 days. But thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. We're also going to be giving out new monthly expected moves at the end of this week. So Patreon members, make sure to tune in for that at next weekend. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for liking, subscribing. You guys are fantastic about it. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Make sure to do something fun. I know you want to learn, you want to look at charts all weekend. Hey, that's fine. But at the end of the day, make sure to treat yourself and don't sit there and look at charts all day, right? Make sure you're doing some work and you're having some fun too. It's very, very important. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Peace out.